This year, kindergarten was asked to write letters of hope and encouragement for our patriots who were wounded while serving our country. All the kindergarten students jumped up eagerly to draw cards and letters. They wrote pictures of the American flags on their cards. They made crosses. They wrote the word Jesus. Some of them were able to write sentences saying, "I'm praying for you." These letters were then taken from one of the parents in my classroom and delivered to those who needed them. Shortly after they were written, it came to my attention that those letters were received by those who were in the 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines, who were in Afghanistan, in Kabul, Afghanistan, during the bombing in which 13 of our Americans fell in action while serving there. Many others were wounded, and those were the ones that received our cards. They were helping civilians there to reach safety, and these letters, God knew, were meant to be for these servicemen and women. First Sergeant Lomelli, who was in charge of this unit, was very impressed by how these letters touched his unit. He was so impressed that he reached out to Heritage Christian School and asked if he could bring a flag of internment that was flown at Camp Pendleton to our school in gratitude for the letters that the kindergarten students wrote. Mr. Gay was excited that he would want to do such a thing, and we looked forward to that day happening. So on February 4th, First Sergeant Lomelli, along with Marines from his unit, joined us in a chapel so that they could appreciate us for the letters that kindergarten had written, but also to thank our whole school for what we are doing here. And we were so grateful to see them in person. Kindergarten was so excited that those who received their letters would be here in chapel. It was a great ceremony in which we were able to thank each other. But then also the Marines took time to come back to our classroom and just spend time with the kindergarten students. And honestly, the kindergarten students thought they were celebrities. They put on their hats, they asked them questions about their service, and even some of the servicemen there actually gave their badges and pins to let the kindergarten students keep as a remembrance of the day. It was a great situation and for all, and we were grateful for the time together. When they left, it wasn't enough. The students wanted more time with these Marines, and so came about the idea of creating Easter baskets for the 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines. In order to do that, I thought it would be helpful if at home the students spent 7 days of service to show the support to their parents that they would like to fill an Easter basket for those at the 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines. So the kindergarten students served at home by folding towels, cleaning up their room, taking out the trash, and in doing so, their parents then filled baskets that we would then bring to the Camp Pendleton. I had other families as well that helped out with this, and we were able to gather 38 baskets. I brought those baskets filled with all sorts of things for these servicemen and women, and I brought them to Camp Pendleton. Brittany, who is also a Marine there, who helps keep the connection between Heritage and the 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines, gathered the Easter baskets. I helped her bring them into her office, and upon walking to her office, I noticed a huge memorial set up where it was photos of the 13 servicemen and women that had fallen in action at Kabul in Afghanistan, and I was extremely moved. I noticed a rifle and a helmet and combat boots, which signify those that have fallen in battle, and their dog tags hung as well. Brittany noticed that I was moved, and she asked if I would like to participate in a memorial walk that was happening that Saturday to honor the fallen. It's called the Speak Their Name Memorial Hike. In that hike would be the Gold Star families that lost their son or daughter while serving our country. Along with those at this hike were other veterans. I met Vietnam veterans. I met those that are serving currently. And I also met those that were there in Kabul, Afghanistan with the 13 when they had fallen. And they were wounded and received our letters. The hike was an amazing day. It was a beautiful day. The sun was shining. As I walked up the hill on the hike with many people, the patriotism that I felt and saw was just amazing. It was a glorious day, and it truly honored those 13. When we reached the top, the last part of the hike is called the Beast, and it's called that because it is a very, very tough end of the hike. But everyone on this walk made it, regardless of their ability to make it. Everyone was encouraging to one another to get to the top. At the top, you could see the ground where it was absolutely holy ground. There were crosses there from others that have fallen while serving our country. And those crosses stood tall, and they stood glorious to honor those that paid the ultimate price for our freedom. As we approached that holy ground, bagpipes were playing, and the Gold Star families were able to take this cross that had literally been brought in the whole entire hike up by different people. Those that serve currently, those were veterans, and those that were just appreciative of all that those that had done, that had fallen. And the Gold Star families then brought the cross and placed it where it stands today. Families were able to speak words about their son or daughter. They were able to leave dog tags on the cross, and there were symbols on the cross of those 13 Marines and corpsmen and Army that had paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. A pastor spoke, and it was obvious that God's hand was in this whole entire situation that happened with my kindergarten students. What was seemingly just an innocent cards that were going to be written by kindergarten students at Heritage Christian School, God knew exactly where those cards were going. He knew exactly where they were needed the most. And they encouraged those that were alongside those wounded warriors. They encouraged one another and inspired one another. And this will continue the legacy for our kindergarten class, that we will continue this relationship with the 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines, that each year we will continue this relationship, that we can keep this friendship going and continue to honor these men and women that serve our country. I want my kindergarten students too, as well as all of the students here at Heritage Christian School. You can make an impact. You have the ability. God is going to use you in great and mighty ways. And I am happy for our kindergarten students that they got to encourage those that serve our country, that the letters that they wrote, God knew exactly where they were supposed to go, and they did what they were supposed to do and encourage. And I am grateful that here at Heritage Christian School, we honor our military, and especially at this chapel, this memorial chapel, that we honor our military that pay the ultimate price, falling to serve our country. They will not be forgotten. Their names will be known, and we appreciate all they do and all that their family has done for our country.